Yeah.
Simple works. If you didn't make simple work, it's on you. The answer is not something more complicated. And it sounds like when people are like, hey, I try to make it easy, let me make it hard instead. That's what I guess failure looks like. Like they haven't figured out those 3 steps to make simple work, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's also like if you add complexity right away. So like I have, somebody just like that's in my Facebook group who's like a really nice lady, and she has an offer that's like, if you're a business owner, I'll get you more profits. And it's so general and so vague. I already know it's not going to work. And she's telling me like I'm building the funnel and I'm all the follow-ups, and I'm like, all of that is a waste of time if you can't first make it work simple. So I think you should do all the follow-ups and the retargeting and all those things, but not before it's been proven to work.
All right. So on that topic, before we go into the Q&A, and for ladies and gents, I hear you. Hold on to the questions for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So are you spending any time doing like industry research or client research? Like, are you getting on the phone and saying, let me ask you 15 Dan Kennedy smart market questions to know if I should do that $100 niche? Or are you just spending 15 minutes on an industry? Like, how do I know that I should go into bike shops and not dentists? How do I know if I should do car mechanics and not personal injury attorneys? Like, are you doing any research at all in this process? Or you just, we'll figure it out? Or what does that look like?
I mean, I think we're always figuring out our clients, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely like research that goes into it. Like one of the things actually, I just ask people like 2 questions that like really clear that up. And I'm sure there's more smart questions you could ask. It's just like, what kind of clients do you wish you had more of? And which kind of clients do you wish you had less of? And a dentist will say like, fuck off with the teeth whitening and bring me a whole bunch more of the veneers. And okay, I'm gonna get you veneers, right? Like, and then also like for research, if you're starting out, when I go into a niche and I don't know anything about it, like when I first went into lawyers in 2016, I didn't know a lawyer. I never worked with a lawyer. And actually one of the things I did, which was really cool, is I reached out to the top lawyer in all of America. His name's John Morgan. They got a huge firm named Morgan & Morgan.
I see their ads. Okay.
Everywhere. Like, Morgan & Morgan.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are outside of Florida and don't see them everywhere.
They didn't grow up with like kids on a billboard saying, I know that family. Yeah.
But I just reached out and said, hey, I'd like to interview you. And then there's an interview of us side by side, and I get to kind of borrow his credibility a little bit. But what I do is I go to wherever they're having conversations. So if they're in Facebook groups, obviously if you can do in person, do that. I go to Quora and Reddit, and I'll just search for things like, what's the hardest thing about being a lawyer? And actually, if you listen to some of my speeches, one of the things that they'll say, like a lawyer says, the hardest part about being a lawyer by far are the clients. No, I don't mean the good clients who trust you like a professional. I mean the people who are in this on principle and just want to make the other person hurt, or those kind of things. And I literally repeat that word for word in some of my presentations. So there's definitely a research that goes into it. But the easiest way I've found to just get that is just go, who do you wish you had more of, and who do you wish you had less of? And I'll ask those separately, but they'll tell you who the $100 bill is.
I have found that, like, as I get into pay per live transfer real estate, I had a really good conversation with a real estate agent, and the question that I asked was, what are you spending money on that you're unhappy with? And all of a sudden, he just, that was the trigger. And I was like, I'm just mopping it up and I'm making words out of it. And that will be what I do in exchange for money, because he's already spending it. He's super frustrated with it. He's like, I wish this was better. I'm going to make it better. But you said 2 questions, which was what type of clients you want more of and what type of clients you want less of. Is that right?
Yeah.
So if somebody watching this video is like, I don't know what to do, well, go have 5 to 10 to 15 minute conversations with 5 to 10 to 15 different people. Ask them what type of clients do they want more of, what type of clients do they want less of, and now you have a 0 to 80% expert framework really, really fast, right?
Yeah, and somebody's asking right now, and yes, you can just walk into a group where you don't know anybody. If you just ask a dentist, who do you want more of? They're not going to say, "Fuck off! We're not paying you money yet, so I'm not going to answer that." They'll just answer it. Like it's actually not very hard to do.
Yep.
And I don't want to be like Ryan Levesque and give everybody the same question, so people walk into these Facebook groups and like, tell me your biggest problem ever. But you can just be honest and say, hey, like I'm doing a little bit of research here, trying to figure out like what kind of patients are most useful to you.
That's how I got into dentistry or dentisting. I asked 15 dentists and I was like, hey, can I talk to you for like 10, 15 minutes? I said, sure. And a whole bunch of them were complaining that all the agencies that they were talking to were giving them whitenings and cleanings and saying we have to upsell. And I hate that. I was like, all right, well, what if you didn't have to do it anymore? What if you're only getting implant patients? And they're like, yeah.
There you go.
right?
That's
All right.
actually that's step 3 of the Loom video right there. No more teeth whitenings. Yes to implants.
Perfect.